start recording. First, we'll start streaming, and then it's be so exciting. I can't believe how excited I am to have woken up at this time in the morning so that I could be streaming with you guys and being with you. It's one of the most exciting moments of my week when I can get out there and actually.
And you can say you're on the air, huh? Are you on the air, Jan?
Well, not yet. We you know what? We are on.
Are you in the air? Maybe you're in the air. Maybe I don't know.
We are not only we are on the air, but now we're going to record. And for some reason, I don't know why I can't see myself, but can you see me? Yeah, you can. It's weird. Whatever happened, there must be a new setting in Zoom that I can no longer see myself when I talk, but that's okay. I know what I look like. So that's exciting. So welcome everybody to, this is our 89th meeting, 89th. Wow, unbelievable. 89, and we're going strong. So it's our 89th meeting of the roundtable where we discuss current events and how it affects our industry. I want to preface by saying that everything you hear is an opinion, so do your own research. And I want to welcome this week all of the viewers from LinkedIn. We are now streaming. Not only are we streaming on YouTube and Facebook, but we have been accepted to LinkedIn to stream. And so I'm super excited about that. Let me go. I'm going to go now, move over here and see if it really is streaming on LinkedIn. And it looks like it might be. I can't tell. So maybe somebody else can go and look and see on LinkedIn if we are streaming, but it looks to me like we are. Anyway, that's so exciting.
Jan, it's streaming and it looks like it's about 5 minutes behind.
Yes, well, that would make sense because there is. So there is a delay. And so what I would recommend that if you are participating in the show, pay attention on the Zoom and do not go to another service because otherwise you will be behind and it'd be very confusing to you when you do the talking. So there you have it. I just thought I'd show you that. Anyway, one of the things that we've got a lot to talk about. And so why don't we start off with the most exciting thing that's going on?
My new hat.
Let's talk about your new hat. There you go. That's very nice.
I have a period party to go to this Saturday. It's my daughter's birthday party, and it's going to be a 20s flapper party. So I need a page boy, or I'm sorry, this is a newsboy cap.
Well, it's beautiful. And I want to tell you something. I wasn't going to bring this story up first, but now that you're wearing that cap, I have to bring this story up that Kansas is now giving away free land and free houses in rural America. If you're willing to move to Kansas, then they will give you a free house and land to live on. And all you've got to do is live in the house. I don't know all the details.
Do you have to buy any of their albums or listen to their music exclusively or anything? Or is it just free?
I think it's Kansas Plains. I don't think it's the Kansas that you're thinking it is. So Kansas Plains is what it is. Tina will throw the link in the chat so you guys can look at it as well. But no, so that hat would go perfectly with you in Kansas. But seeing we're talking with Michael, let's talk about what's going on in Las Vegas. So the most exciting thing about Las Vegas is Polestar just debuted its inaugural concert market rankings. And of course, Las Vegas came out way on the top with 197 million tickets sold, earning an average ticket price of $192.79. And that's the highest on the chart for all metrics. But then again, the ticket prices, the average ticket price is $100 everywhere else, except for Las Vegas, where it goes through the roof. So that is something. What do you know about that? And also, I mean, some of the shows that are happening in Las Vegas.
I know that it was cheaper for me to take my daughter to Sacramento to see Harry Styles as an early Christmas gift and get a hotel room for the night so we wouldn't have to take the red eye back than it was to just get 2 tickets here in Las Vegas.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
look at
very common. I hardly ever see concerts in Vegas. I almost always fly somewhere because it's cheaper.
look at the shows that are happening right now. Keith Urban is going to be at the Coliseum. John Legend is going to be at Zappos Theater in Planet Hollywood. Shania Twain, she's going to be also at the Zappo Theater. Lady Gaga returns to the Dolby Live at the MGM Park. Cher will be. No, this is Cheer, not Share. Cheer Live. Now that would be like the whatchamacallit, the cheerleaders. That looks really cool. And that's going to be in Las Vegas as well. So, I mean, those are just a few shows that are coming into Las Vegas compared to all of the other places in the United States. That's a lot of shows. That's an awful lot of shows.
Well, we've got them. We've got venues, and we certainly have dates available too. I don't think Keith Urban is taking all of the Adele dates. I think he took a chunk of them.
Well, he was coming in right after her.
Correct, but and then he's also keeping his dates because he had already sold tickets. So, yeah, I'm sure there's other acts to be announced.
Yeah. And this season looks like it's going to be amazing. Jack White announced his first dates. I love the name of his tour. He's calling it the Supply Chain Issues Tour. And he's going to be on the road for a long time. He goes out in April. He's in Kansas City on August 29th. And that's Dave Matthews announced he's doing 50 dates in North America. Bad Bunny added 6 additional stadium shows. I've never seen Bad Bunny. I don't even know if I know their work.
His work.
Bad Bunny?
He's a DJ.
Oh, no wonder. Halsey announced that she's going out, doing a shed tour. The Black Keys are doing what they're calling the Dropout Boogie Tour, which will also be a shed tour. Luke Bryant is out on the road again. Billie Eilish, Dua Lipa. The Bleachers. I mean, so there are a ton of shows going
and
out.
The Grammys. The Grammys are coming to Vegas.
Yay.
Yes, the Grammys are coming to Vegas. Basically, what they say is that, Las Vegas is the entertainment capital of the world. So why not?
I just read that Nevada casinos profited over $1 billion for the 7th month in a row.
Come on.
Yeah.
Now, and you're talking about now, right?
Right now, through COVID. Through COVID, $1 billion a month.
That's what oblivion to the virus will do for you.
That's either 7 or 10 months in a row. I think it's 7.
Wow.
Well, Las
7.
Vegas.
It's 7.
Las Vegas really took some serious effort to battle COVID. I mean, a lot of things were closed. Casinos were under the gun. They were finding
first they were
casinos.
Closed. First, the casinos were closed for 4.5, 5 months.
And now they're making up for lost time.
We're trying. We sure are trying. Ken Newman, when are you coming back to town? We've got a table
next
for
week.
You.
Next week.
Excellent. We have a table for you, sir, right this way.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. And we got NAB coming into Las Vegas and CinemaCon.
When is NAB? When is NAB?
23rd to the 27th of April.
Is it in person?
Yeah.
In person.
23rd to 27th of April. Oh my God.
And you're going to be
the
doing
same time as
CinemaCon.
CinemaCon. That's the same time, right? I'm not going to
That's
be able
right.
to go to NAB then. Oh my God.
You'll just be able to walk next door. It's be simple enough,
Well, or take an Uber.
Yeah, or take an Uber. I mean, walking is really a challenge. I got to tell you.
I guess I could go on the 24th. Maybe I have one meeting on the 24th.
CinemaCon is at Caesars and NAB is at the convention center. So yes, theoretically you could walk it. David Kane.
I'll be at the Westgate through the 23rd.
You can walk anywhere, but perhaps an Uber would be better.
I'll be at the Westgate through the 23rd is the thing. So that's walkable. Westgate to the convention center, definitely a walk, right? Yeah,
very yes. Although
what's happening at Resorts World? Is Celine Dion going to open ever?
She's kind of semi-permanently postponed, and it's really just up to her muscles. It's her muscle spasms that are causing her issues.
And so, who's playing there? Is somebody playing there like this week?
That's a good question. I'll find out for you. I don't know if I think Katy Perry's on tour, so I don't think she could have jumped in.
On tour, really? Wow, that's amazing. I know she was on SNL.
She was, and she looked lovely.
And they did. It looked like they did a number from her show, that same show that she's doing at Resorts World, based on the video that I saw of the Resorts World show.
Checking the entertainment calendar.
We don't need to know right now.
Well, I know somebody. I know somebody that's not playing Vegas
Luke
this
Bryan.
week.
Luke Bryan starts next week. Katy Perry starts March 2nd. Selected dates through August. Carrie Underwood March 23rd through May. And that's right. Yes, Michael Bublé is picking up a bunch of Celine's dates.
Oh, no kidding! That's Craig Dubé. Wow, what month?
Starting April 27th.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Michael Bublé.
Yeah. Well, so there you go.
And I believe he's still a Solotech.
Very much so. Oh yeah, he's Meyer all the way.
Yeah.
As is Dave Matthews.
There's Fred.
Yes.
Hi, Fred.
Fred
Dave
was on a
Matthews
phone
is
call.
Hello. Sorry, I was on a phone call with Freddie Aldis about the shortage of audio people in our industry, and I only had a couple minutes to speak to him, so I had to finish my phone call before I came over.
Are you in China?
No, I'm in Stanford, Connecticut. I'm doing
Stanford, Connecticut, ESPN
track, and I think most of my content is going to show up on the USA Network.
Oh wow!
Wow, that's
congratulations
very cool.
on the very, very cool gig.
Oh, you should see this cool little 12-channel audio board I have. I'm really working hard.
Oh, by the way, I saw that. I saw the post on Facebook. I saw your post on Facebook. Really cool. Really, really looks cool.
It is. It's a little baby Brio. I've never had a 12-channel board before. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, if somebody wants to find it and share it on his Facebook page, it's a really cool setup. Or you can even share it on your Facebook, your Facebook setup. It is really a cool setup. By the way, speaking of that shirt you're wearing, the Olympics in Beijing. I mean, I don't know if you guys are following that, but the Olympics is taking place now. I believe that. Oh, by the way, happy Chinese New Year for anybody who is from China that is watching. But the Olympics start February 3rd, which is tomorrow, and run through the 20th. So that's the Winter Olympics. But I hear they're having a challenge and a half with COVID with the athletes. Is anybody hearing anything like that? Anybody else following the news?
I have not, but probably because I don't follow the Olympics.
No, they found.
No,
There sounds a few of the athletes and coaches, and they're in quarantine, and they kind of have it under control so far.
Right.
I've noticed a decline in the coverage of COVID on the news lately. Has anybody else noticed that, or is it just me?
Well, there's a big decline in the number of cases.
Not according to my email that I get from Ventura County every day. The 16 people died yesterday from COVID. That's crazy.
It's down from 40,000 a day to 3,000 a day.
Yeah, but it's going to go back up with this new BA2 or whatever, because now it's supposedly even more infectious.
I thought they're still waiting to hear about that.
We're gonna hope not, right, Fred?
I would be willing to bet we're going to hope not, and then we're going to ignore it regardless.
I think you're right. It's full steam ahead, Captain. Damn the torpedoes. Sorry if I
What
swore.
torpedoes? I don't see any torpedoes. There's no.
We're going to be getting
torpedoes.
vaccinations every 6 months instead of a yearly flu shot. We're going to be getting 6-month vaccinations going forward.
These are not the torpedoes.
I wonder
you're
this
looking for.
vaccination doesn't seem to be as effective as it was originally intended to be. I don't think so. I wonder about that. Do you think that's for real, Third?
I think it's going to. I mean, I don't know how they're going to fix it other than coming up with something to. I mean, it seems like all of us in this group have probably gotten it by now. I had it in the middle of January. I had 3 days of a sore throat, and if I didn't have a sore throat, I would have had no idea to go get a test and test it.
You mean like January, as in recently?
Yeah.
No kidding. And
Yeah,
that's all you had was sore throat.
I went to a dinner on New Year's Eve and potentially got exposed. So I went and did a test on the 4th. I was negative, but it was the first day of a sore throat. So the next day I still had a sore throat. So I went and tested again and it tested positive. So I stayed home for the rest of the month because I knew I was coming here. And then NBC sent me this cool COVID test kit that actually took batteries, 2 AA batteries, and did the whole swap thing and put it in there and had to don't touch it for 30 minutes. And it had 2 LEDs. One said positive, one said negative.
Yeah, I've seen that test. That's about $80 for that.
Yeah. So they sent me 2 of them. So
the
I
home
used
lab test is what it is, right?
Yeah. And so I tested negative. So I was able to come, and I have one here in case I ever feel bad on the day. I have the second one, or if I ever want to test before I go back, so I don't get on an airplane. But yeah.
So they've totally blown off the home rapid test kits, and they've gone right to that home type, semi-rapid test. That's more
at least NBC
PCR. Yeah.
Well, there's a new test. There's a new test, Kenny. It's the company's called Luciria, LUC.
That's the one. That's the one. That's the one he's talking about.
Yeah. And basically it's PCR quality. It's a molecular accuracy in 30 minutes or less. And it meets the meet COVID-19 test you could trust for whenever you need it. It's only $75. David Dansky was the one who turned me on to the link, and we'll throw that into the chat as well. So you could see it and check it out for yourself.
Yeah, I just put it there. I just put it in the chat. Yeah.
See what else I found, because I'm going on a cruise in a couple of weeks. And so, of course, they want you tested 48 hours or less before you go. And I found,
Fred, let me pin you so people could see it. Let me just pin you up there so everybody could see what you're showing. There it is.
That what he's showing is the same thing as that web link that I put in the chat will take you to. But of course, if you're on LinkedIn or Facebook, you probably don't see those links.
Well, Tina's posting them to something, to Facebook, I believe.
Anyway, so what I found was the monitored antigen test, where there's a guy on the other end of your cell phone, and he watches and he certifies via email that you are clear, which is what I need for the cruise. And that's, the half-hour test, and it's 2 for $70. So that's pretty inexpensive for a certified, even though it's antigen and not PCR, it's still a great price, because I was finding them, $90 a shot, and here they are 2 for $70. And anybody can get them.
I forgot which one's which. David, refresh my memory. Which one's which again?
Antigen is the one you do at home, and PCR is the one in the lab.
And so what was that one? That was how much?
This is antigen monitored by a medical professional, which I had to do when we did the Milken show. He looks at your QR code. He looks at your report, and when it comes in, he never leaves your site. So when it comes in and it's good, he sends you an email, and that's certification right there.
Oh, interesting. Well, I wonder. Here's what I wonder: is whatever happened to that test or that machine that Marty Hom was talking about? What was that? 1.5 years, 2 years ago? Remember that, Jan?
Yeah. I don't know what happened to it.
That was he was talking to Intel and Dell or something, right? And they were trying to come up with a machine that would do a rapid, as in 10-second test that would be reliable as people entered the venue, right?
That's right. I haven't heard from Marty. I guess he's working like crazy right now, so I haven't heard him. But I guess I could call him to find out. Not now, but we'll call him during the week.
I'm just curious whatever happened with that, because that sounded cool. But all these other tests sound cool. I just finished a 2-week-long gig. We got tested every day with the PCR test, and then we also got one day we had a PCR test. No, what's the cheap one? Antigen. We took the every day as the antigen, right? And then we did the lab test one day because they drove a lab on wheels up to the venue and had us all test with that one day also.
Have you used any of those ones that you got on Amazon? Because I went on that day that you talked about it on the show here, and I ordered them. I finally got mine, and those.
I've used some of these. Yeah.
I haven't used any of them yet. They all came in just before I left, and obviously I had the one from NBC, so all of those are sitting on the shelf for when I get home.
I would say those are way less accurate than the one that you got from NBC, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
But those are the same kind that I expect to get. I expect to get 4 more packages or 2 more packages of these from the U.S. government that I ordered a couple weeks ago, and those should be here in about a few days.
Yeah, you only get 1 per household, because my wife went and got those, and then I went to go try to get it, and they went, no, they've already been sent to your address.
Yeah, what is it? 1 pack of 4? 4 tests or 2 tests or 8 tests?
2. You get 2 per household.
2 packs of 2.
2 packs of 2. Okay, that 4 tests. Interesting. That'll take my inventory up to 5 packs of 2.
I'm at 8.
Great.
Wow,
I
you
heard
guys
that-
are
I heard that-
amazing.
I heard that Richard Bevan has a lot left over from Milken. Also, he has a whole pile of them left over
You
from,
can
from that
buy
Milken
them on
conference.
Amazon too.
How much are they these days?
The one you held up, if memory serves, is like $18 for a pair of them.
Oh, that's good. The
Yeah,
last
no.
I saw, they were $50 or something for a pair.
So didn't
And you got to wait 2 weeks.
Didn't you and I pay 24?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we the Amazon ones that one was listed for 24.
Yeah, right.
It's going to be somewhere around 20.
12.50 a test, basically.
I think they made the prices skyrocket when they became less available. Don't you think?
What?
I haven't been back to look, but
Capitalism?
the day that
What?
the day you talked about it, I logged on while the show was going on and I ordered 4. So I have 8 test kits.
Well, I will tell you that when I was in the drugstore the other day to pick up some something, I forgot what it was that I wanted to pick up. But while I was standing there online here in Thailand, I saw like people buying this this item. I didn't know what it was. I'll take 4 of these. People buying 4 at a time, and one guy bought 6 at a time in front of me. And I said, "What is that they're all buying?" And she says, "Oh, they're COVID tests." And so they're selling right over the counter, and they had plenty of them here in Thailand. So not that I'm going to buy them here and ship them back to the United States, but I mean, COVID tests are really getting prevalent all over the world, I guess, if they're coming here and you can get them. Also, I mean, Pfizer announced that, you know, that they're going to be working, and so with Moderna, that they're going to have an Omicron specific vaccine shortly. You know, that they're going to have that. And also they just announced that they're going to have a vaccine for kids under 5, which I guess is going to be, you know, reminiscence of the days where you had to get the smallpox vaccine and the polio vaccine before you went to school. So,
just wonder when they're going to get a vaccine that keeps you from getting it, as opposed to a vaccine that makes it a little less bad when you get it.
well, I think what they're working on right now are pills. I'm pretty sure I've read that they have some sort of pill that they're coming down the pipe with that soon, that will be able to arrest and keep you from getting it. But it's hard to. I mean, if I'm correct, COVID's a virus. I mean, am I right? So there's nothing that they could do to stop viruses. I mean, you know, when you get a virus, you get a virus. That's all there is to it.
But what's the flu shot? The flu vaccine is to avoid or to help you not get it, isn't it? Or is it just to make it less potent when you get it?
Yeah, it's both. It's both, but a flu, the run of the mill flu, every year flu, is nowhere near as aggressive a virus as COVID has been. Even Omicron is much more aggressive a virus than the regular flu.
We need to go back and start calling it SARS. That's where it all started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just from a layman's point of view, I just wish they would come up with a vaccine that would prevent you from getting it. That would be nice, right?
Well, I look at it like this: if they can revamp and renovate the terminals at LaGuardia Airport in New York, then they should be able to come up with a pill or something to prevent us from getting COVID. That's all there is to it. By the way,
being the miracle that it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is, LaGuardia, you know, if you flew into New York, I mean, a city like New York with umpteen billion people, 14 million people, and the airport was in shambles. They've just renovated the airport, which is pretty cool. So, I mean, if they could do that, they should be able to come up with some sort of COVID remedy. I mean, thinking about that.
The problem wasn't the airport, it was New York contractors. If they brought in some Vegas contractors, we'd have gotten it done in about a month.
Wow. Okay, well, then they need to come and do JFK too, because I just flew into there and it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So just the thing about the regular flu shots, every year they have to plan a year in advance to which variant of the flu itself is coming in and make the vaccine.
It's always a guess.
Yeah, it's always a guess.
They can misjudge it, and the flu vaccine doesn't work nearly as well as it should have because it's got the wrong variant. So
because it mutated differently than they predicted, or they anticipated.
Interesting. Okay, all right.
And that's why vaccines for things like smallpox or mumps or rubella or anything like that they work so well because that is a very specific virus that is very specifically, it behaves the same decade after decade after decade after decade. It doesn't.
And it never mutated. Never mutated, huh?
No, it stays the same.
Why not? Can we get COVID to not mutate somehow? Yeah, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't know anything about it.
You laugh, but there is research going on right now where they are taking specific types of cancer cells or cells from very specific types of cancer, introducing them to a known disease like measles or something like that, to get it to mutate,
back
to then see if the measles vaccine will kill the cancer cell.
What
cue.
noise
I
is
gotta
that?
go, folks. It's good seeing
All right.
you.
Bye, Mike. Thanks for coming.
Take it easy, Mike. All right. Thanks for all the info, Mike. Take it easy.
Okay, so now the man of the hour, we move to Brian Scott, who is our, who is our go-to guy when we need specific answers for anything. This is our man in the panel, and he will keep us all honest. Thank you. All right.
And he has the best internet connection too. If I recall, he has the home Wi-Fi thing or something that's really awesome.
Getting replaced in less than a month.
Oh, no kidding.
Google Fiber
Work out, I guess. Huh?
Google Fiber will be here on the 28th.
Oh, how
All right.
nice.
Now, speaking of which, I mean, I'm reading all this thing about 5G now, that they're going to be offering wireless routers to the house that you could be able to I saw an ad for Verizon. Has anybody heard anything about that? Anybody know anything about that? Is that really going to replace cable?
I'm on T-Mobile 5G now. I've been on it for months. $50 a month on autopay. I'm 200 something down and over 100 something up. I mean, it blows everything I've tried in the past away, and it's $50 a month on autopay.
So let me ask you something. Is it a separate box or is it on your phone? How does it work?
It's a little cylinder. It looks like a loaf of bread. It's just a little cylinder. It's got an Ethernet connection on it and a power cord. Plug it into your switch. There it is right there. Yep, that's it.
Where? Who's got it? Brian's got it. Let me see that.
Yeah, wait a second. What?
Hold on, Brian. Hold it up again so we could all see it.
So that's what you use for home internet, Fred, or
Yep.
on the road at the home? Huh?
That's the home internet. And because I'm on T-Mobile and I'm on 5G, my new phone works everywhere.
Wow.
It's restricted. It's the device is restricted to your address. It won't work if you take it to another location.
Yeah, no, the little cylinder thing. Yeah, it's got a geofence. But it, it's still, to get those speeds on my Cox cable in Arizona would cost me over $250 a month.
Yeah. So I
Well,
wonder what
my
these cable
problem-
companies are going to do, because that's going to be huge. And I mean, if I had the opportunity to have that, I would cut it out immediately. But when you think about the difference, the speeds here, I have 300 and 300, something like that. And I am paying here $20 a month for that. And on my phone, it's 200 baht, which is $6 to have 5G high-speed internet. How is it in America that it's so expensive?
Capitalism.
Because it can be, Jan.
So,
Yeah.
Jan, the part of the reason that mine was failing I only have 2 bars where I'm at, so I'm not in a good 5G circuit. But when Google Fiber came in here, everybody cut their prices 2/3 for cable, or not for cable, but for internet, because Google Fiber is coming in at $70 a month.
Competition is good, right?
Yep.
That's what they said when they broke up AT&T.
Have you tried moving that thing somewhere else in your house, Brian?
I've tried about 6 locations in the house, but I've also taken my phone around the house. I'm just sitting right on the edge of a 5G.
Yeah, because I have an antenna across the next block over from me, but where my device sits in the closet in my office, I've only got 3 of the 5 bars. I could technically go put it by the window and have 5 bars, but I don't need it. It works just fine where it is.
Now, are you worried about your altimeter, not being accurate anymore at the house?
They they canceled that. The airlines backed down off of that this week.
So I guess AT&T and Verizon have more lobbying dollars than the airlines. I guess that's what you're trying to tell me.
I guess so.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, that's pretty cool. By the way, hey, listen, I found something, speaking of internet and, talking about the computers, there is a thing, if you use a Chrome browser, I highly recommend this. It's called uBlock Origin. And there's two of them. One's called uBlock Origin, and the other one is called I-don't-care-about-cookies-EU. And we'll put the links in there. And basically what it does is it blocks cookies. You know how when you go to a website, they want you to say cookies. Well, this thing does it for you automatically, so that basically you don't have to click a button, and it blocks the cookies, because unless you want cookies.
Why? Well, don't we want cookies? I mean, cookies are what tells them. I mean, helps us be quick to get back to the same place on that website the next time we visit, right?
Exactly, but there are some companies. Yes, they're tracking you, but let's say you go someplace where you really don't care if they have your cookies. You're going to go to a site only one time.
800 flowers or something. I don't care if they track me, because I don't need to know. I need to get back to the same place.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's something that's kind of interesting that, I didn't realize you have to do it, because this thing will do it automatically. You don't have to click on it anymore.
So is that a Chrome extension then, or is it an app?
Yeah, it's a Chrome extension. It's Chrome extension.
So you know what else is another cool Chrome extension is the one that spoofs your location. You can tell it to be any location other than your real location. Oh, I mean, you could use your real location also, but it tells any inquiring website that your location is whatever you tell it to be, instead of your real location.
And that's an interesting thing to do, because you could actually do that in the settings yourself, but it would be a lot easier if there was an app that did that. Do you remember
there's an extension? Yeah, there's Location Guard, right? Isn't that what it is? I don't know. Let me look.
I thought that's what a VPN was for, if you didn't want to. Nah,
VPN only does it halfway, is the thing, Fred. So here's the thing with the VPN. When you do a VPN, it changes your IP address, and that IP address that it changes it to has a location attached to it. But I can tell you that somehow the website still knows where I am. In other words, it knows my real location, unless I put on this Location Guard thing.
And I could tell you what your challenge is there.
And I'm basing that on information that I obtained from a website called whatsmyip.org or something, or .com.
So it's possible
that into a Google search, it'll come back every time.
Yeah. So it's possible that you have a leak, a DNS leak. And there is a website called DNSleak, I believe, .com, where you can check to see if you're a leak. There's also the other thing is the DNS, your DNS, you could change. So automatically your provider wants you to use their DNS, but there is such a thing as Cloudflare or Google, where you could go into the DNS and put in 1.1.1.1, and then in the next DNS you put 1.0.0.0.1. And
I just did that, Cloudflare, and then you download a program and you get a free VPN with that. You can encrypt your traffic, and you can turn it on and off at will. I just did that with my office computer. I just read about this and changed all my DNSs, because I had a problem. All of a sudden one day I came home, and in this T-Mobile Wi-Fi thing, they had changed the DNS addresses. They did an upgrade on the tower and changed it. All of a sudden I couldn't get on the internet. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Because all of my computers are statically assigned. I don't have them dynamically assigned. So I went in and I read about this DNS thing. I've always used Google for some of them, 888-4444. But this Cloudflare one is supposedly new. So I put that on my home when I'm testing it right now. It's pretty cool.
They say Cloudflare is the fastest of all of them. I was using Google too, 88888, but I switched over to Cloudflare, and I'm with Nord. And they have their own DNS, but I find that the best one is Cloudflare for sure.
How's
And-
Cloudflare spelled? Is it F-A-I-R or F-A-R-E?
F-A-R-E.
I think it's
Cloudflare.
FARE, yeah. But you just,
Yeah.
but basically, like you said, you just change your DNS to 111.1001. But when you go to that website, they'll give you a program to download, and you can put it on your computer, and that encrypts all your traffic. And I've found that sometimes when I go to a website, it won't go. So I'll go down to my taskbar and just turn that off, and then refresh the page, and boom, it'll load. So they're blocking some stuff and trying to keep you safe.
Interesting.
Yeah. What I find is that, being here in Thailand and I want to watch US TV, a DNS is a must have. The VPN is a must have. And when I use the Cloudflare, it works really, really well. Very, very well. So if you're traveling, it's a good thing to have.
So just curious, when you go to what'smyip.org, there, does it show your actual location or the spoofed location?
I
Depends
don't
on
know.
whether it's on or not.
I mean, when it's on. Yeah, when it's on.
Yeah. It's a good question. I haven't done it personally, but loading that DNS, I still got my T-Mobile my T-Mobile address, but the DNS I'm using is 1111.
I think it's changing because I got the VPN, and I see stuff for Colorado one day, and then I see stuff for Arizona for another day, and then DC, the ads are coming in, or so what, the ones that they've placed with your location. I'm
Right,
all
and
over the
that's
United-
the whole thing about being on a VPN. A lot of the companies, you can actually go in and say, oh, I want to be in Germany, or I want to be in Canada, or I want to be in Mexico, or whatever, so that you get around those restrictions. That's like I said,
that's
part of
the key.
VPN.
Yeah.
But they're getting, the companies like Netflix are getting smart to that though, and they're figuring out a way to still block you, because they figured out a way to say, hey, you're on a VPN. We're still not going to let you do that. There's a few companies that are figuring it out.
NBA did that with their basketball contract, or their NBA TV. Even though I'm using the VPN, it required me to share my Wi-Fi location, and which showed up, and then I couldn't watch the local games.
DirecTV is doing the same thing. As when I was up in Washington in December, I was trying to watch stuff and I couldn't do it, because when it was there in Arizona, it's no problem. But because I want a different IP address in Washington, it went, nope, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
well,
so-
that location guard extension for Chrome is pretty interesting. You might check into it.
Okay, so I just did what my public, I went to whatismyip.com, and it says that my location is Los Angeles, California. So Kenny, I'm coming over for dinner. That's all I can say, That's it. So anyway, all of a sudden I can't hear anybody. Does anybody hear me?
Well, I just did it, and I don't have my VPN is off right now, and my VPN is off, and I went to what'smyip.com. I think it's what'smyip.org is the one that's better. Anyway, it says time zone America Chicago, so it doesn't even have a public IP. So let me go to what'smyip.org.
Just type in a Google search, what's my IP address? You don't even have to you don't have to put a .com or anything. Just put it in there. It'll tell you in Google.
Yeah, but it doesn't, it just tells you I did that first. It just tells you your IP address. It doesn't tell you where it's located. If you do whatismyip.com, it tells you where you're located.
Hey, Jan, can you try typing in what'smyip.org, like WHATS?
I am. It's a green. It's a green. Which one do you want to go to?
No, it's not green. It's black background. What'smyip.org. Not what is. What's. What'smyip.org. And see what you get there. I'm just curious.
Okay, let's see. What'smyip.org. It's amazing, how, your IP address. Wow, I highly recommend this for you guys. I'll tell you what I'll do. I hope.
What? I recommend what?
This website is pretty cool. Here, let me see. Let me share my
It
screen.
says,
for a
and you
second
go to
so
more
can see
more
it.
info about you. Click on more info about you at some point.
I'll look at it like that. You guys can see this now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you want me to do, Kenny? More info about you.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
hope it
click on
doesn't-
that and it'll show you. So is that your actual IP address or the VPN IP address? Here's the key. Let's see what the
It
map
says
shows.
it wants to allow, and now I get a pop up as you see. So I'll allow it to let me know where I am because I trust this site because I've been here so many times. Your approximate location, there it is. It's loading. No, it shows where I am.
So are you on the VPN though? No, you're not on the VPN.
Yeah, I'm on the VPN.
That's my point, you guys. That's my point, is that somehow that website knows where you actually are, even though you're on the VPN, which should hide your actual location, correct?
Yeah, it should.
Yeah, there
And
you
so
go. So that's why I use location guard. That's what I was talking about.
yeah.
So
Yep,
if you
it
got
should.
cookies in there that have identifying information, it'll pick it up. So if you haven't cleared,
Oh,
your
is that,
cookies
you think
out-
that's how it's getting that, Brian?
Yep.
Oh, how interesting. So you could clear out all your cookies and you might get a
Yes.
different location, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that while I'm online with you guys, but yeah, I think that's probably what it is, and I would agree with you on that. It's exciting stuff, but it does work, and that's the whole thing. All I care about is getting television so I could watch the news and
Well, of course,
and
you want to get
my
American
favorite
TV
shows.
in Thailand, right?
Yes, that's right. Now, they do have these boxes you can buy that are pretty cheap that somehow bypasses everything, and you get every station in the world on these boxes, and they're like
Yeah, but don't
only
go
$100.
Don't
What?
go there.
Well, they sell them in the stores. I mean, they sell them everywhere.
I know
You
they
know,
do, but
Well,
They
and
sell
the-
guns in the stores too, Jan, but
No,
and
they
there's
don't
just
sell
been-
guns in the store here in Thailand.
okay, I'm
And-
kidding. But anyway,
One of the co-
what can you tell us, Fred? Why are you shaking your head about this thing?
well, you can use them in Thailand. They're fine. They sell them in the stores there. Don't bring them to the United States because they're
Oh, yeah,
technically
no, you
they're
wouldn't.
technically not legal boxes. So if you don't want to circumvent the law, don't go there.
Well, and I just
No, I agree
read
with
this
you.
week that one of the companies lost a major battle in court for streaming off of this. I mean, it was huge. I can't remember, but they lost the courts ruled that they couldn't live stream without the owner's permission.
Yeah, that makes
A lot
sense.
of people are getting in trouble for that too. You know, you get an account and you want to live stream, something that you're watching with a group of your friends. Technically that's illegal, but you're on the internet, you can probably get away with it. But if you don't want to get into those situations, don't put yourself there. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I will tell you one thing that I did read about this week, and I can't remember the name of the company, but this company will rent you a Mac Mini at their location, or you can buy it. You could buy a Mac Mini and it sits in their location and you tunnel into that. So it shows like, for example, I have my office computer and I use Parallels to get into my office computer so that so when I have to look like when I really want them to know that I am in Las Vegas, that's how I tunnel in. I tunnel into my own computer, and then I do my searches there, or I go up, whatever it is. But there's a company now that will sell you a Mac Mini for the exact cost that you would buy it in the store, or rent it for you. And then you could just use your Mac Mini in another location and it's always there, and then they maintain it for you. So I can't remember the name of the company that does it, but there is a service like that, so that if you wanted to have your own computer somewhere that's off your property and that's in a fireproof, vault, so that nothing will go wrong, there is a company and it will maintain it for a reasonable price, hardly anything. I think it's like $30 a month, and you get to own your own Mac Mini. So that's something to think about if you want. Anyway, let's see what else is going on that we want to talk about. So, Fred, what are you doing with the why are you wearing that shirt, the Beijing? Is that your uniform? Because it looks like you've got a ranking there. You look like you've got some sort of
No, it's just got the Nike shoe.
General in the Nike Army. Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is? You're a general in the Nike army. Is that what
Yeah,
it is?
exactly. No, this was one of the gifts. I got a jacket, I got this shirt, and I got a beanie. Some of the swag that they give you.
Yeah, you look like you're in the military. That's right. It does because you're in the Chinese military. There you go. You know.
No, I'm in
Now
the
we're-
NBC military.
Are you in
Yeah.
Beijing right now?
No, I'm in Stamford, Connecticut. I don't know if you can see my name on the screen, but I changed it so I could show where I was.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's really cool.
So you're working for NBC this month, right?
For the next 2.5 weeks, yes.
I thought you normally do stuff with Fox, right? Or you
I'm a
contract with Fox?
freelancer, so I work for everybody. But yes, normally with Fox.
Okay. I didn't know if you were going to go do that Clash in LA tonight, this Sunday.
I
We're
don't
doing
know.
it.
What is it?
The NASCAR race in the LA
Oh,
Coliseum.
yeah. Kenny was, I think it was Kenny was showing me the pictures of wasn't it you on last week's show or a couple weeks? Somebody was, I had not heard about this where they basically, oh, that's right. It was David. He basically took out the inside of the Coliseum and built a NASCAR track in there. It's
pretty nuts.
cool. It's really silly. I have no idea how they're going to make any money out of it. Maybe they're not going to put the stadium back. Maybe they're not going to play football in there anymore. I don't know, but
No, they'll put it back. It's supposed to all come out. My brother-in-law has been working on all the TV interface and that because they're going on through the vault there in LA. So they're doing all the fiber, back to the vault and doing it all that way.
that's part of why I was late getting in here. I was talking to Fred Aldous about being able to go over. I had to go over and work in that facility last summer. Walked in there blind and did a couple of MLS games. And you walk in the room and everything's just numbers. It's just nothing is named anything. You don't. So to walk in and go, okay, in 8 hours I have to be on the air. What's this microphone called? Okay, well it's it's a 12-digit number.
Do you know Mike Copeland out there?
It was tough, but I got through it.
Do you know Mike Copeland?
Yes.
He's my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I read an article that some of the drivers are complaining about the conditions in the Coliseum for this. Has anybody else read anything like that?
I can't imagine it. What are they going to be? You're not going to get any speed. You're going to be turning left the entire time. What do you got? 50 feet to actually accelerate?
Well, the other one too is you got brand new next generation cars that have never raced before. This is the first race in the new generation car.
But that's part of the reason NASCAR is doing this. Is short runs. It's just like the Bristol track, but it's supposed to be short runs, is what they're saying out of here. Is just so that they can go out there, try a few things, then bring it back into the shop and work on it. So they're only doing like 20 laps at a time.
Aren't they going to have to set it up like World Outlaws, where you have bigger tires on the outside and smaller tires on the inside? Yeah, there it is. Look at that picture.
It's the same
That's a
configuration.
very small track for cars to be going around, though, right? I mean, that's a size track meant for people to run around, isn't it?
Yeah, they're going to get to maybe 80 miles an hour. I mean,
That's nuts. That's too small.
It's just over a quarter mile.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Maybe you should have the midget cars in there. Maybe NASCAR. That's crazy.
Can you imagine how loud it's going to be?
Oh my
man.
God. Yeah. Oh my God. You're going to be wearing double shooting muffs.
Not only that, I think it could be also turned into a crash, the crash car derby. What do they call it? Demolition derby. It's so small.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
people
look,
are
there's
gonna
no
be-
room for anything. Where's the pits? That's the pits. That's
The
small.
pits are on the inside. Yeah.
That's too small.
I
That's way
can't
too
imagine
small.
they're going to be running more than 6 cars at a time.
Yeah, there's no pit, or they're not pitting during the race. They're running a leg and then they're stopping it.
Wow.
But I would not
10
want to
car
be.
per race for the previous race. They run 10-car races where they the winner of that goes to the next one, and then they do that all the way down. And there's like 36 or 38 cars that are registered to run in the Clash. And then the winners will run the pole race on Sunday. That's how they pick the drivers. So there's not going to be more than 16 racing for the finale on Sunday.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are they doing this? That's crazy. There's other tracks nearby. What the heck?
Yeah.
It's a
It's always
promotional.
a gimmick somewhere, right?
It's a promotional
Is it-
stunt.
Are they trying? Is it in conjunction with or scheduled near the Super Bowl or something? Are they trying to get all those tourists that are coming to town to go to some other event while they're here for Super Bowl or something?
Week
What
later.
the hell? That's weird.
A week later is the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's a good point, Kenny. That's a good observation. So within a week,
So maybe that's what they're trying to cash in on, is the influx of tourists for the Super
maybe,
Bowl.
why
Ah,
not?
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Well,
Whose
you know
idea
that
of right was that?
well, you know that they're looking at trying to get more short track stuff because they're taking down part of Fontana and making it a half-mile oval instead of the 2 mile it's been.
Really?
What?
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah, and they've eliminated 25% of the seating in Charlotte.
But
Now,
in
Is that,
Fontana,
is that from COVID?
No, it was dying before COVID. They don't want to show empty seats on TV, and the fans have not been showing up to the races. NASCAR's struggling. It might not make it 5 more years if things.
What? NASCAR is
That-
struggling. I thought it was
that's-
one of the most popular sports in the
I was going
country.
to say that's incredible because what was it like 10 years ago? NASCAR outpaced rodeo. Rodeo was the number one sport forever, and then NASCAR took over the number one spot. And then I think maybe it became NFL or something, but then it went back to NASCAR. Back and forth.
NASCAR in the Charlotte area, which is the home of it. It's been struggling in the last few years. Attendance has been way down. People would rather watch it on TV than go and fight the crowds. I mean,
Well, that's the problem with all the technology now. It's way better to sit at house, especially when you can buy those packages where you can follow your own driver. You got cameras all over the inside of the car. You can hear what the driver and the crew are talking about. Who gives a damn about the rest of the people?
I mean, I've only been to one race since I've been down here, and it got rained out. And it took us 3 hours to get out of the parking lot. I mean,
Well,
it just
I have been to a NASCAR race, and basically it seemed most people are not watching the race anyway. They're in their campers, they're partying like crazy, and they got their walkie-talkie so that they could listen to their car driver. They've got the big screen TVs going, and they're watching it on the big, so it's more of an event than it is actually watching it. And to hear the sound of those engines as they go around is pretty impressive. I mean, those
it's
are
so loud,
cars.
so loud.
Well,
I went to a
especially if you
NASCAR
have-
race once. It's amazing.
Especially if you have small children. Why would you expose them to that? It's torture.
Well, just look at the people who go to NASCAR. I mean, really. I mean, it's like that. That's what. All right, Ken, you have something to say there?
well, the other reason that's going on is there's a transitioning happening, is that there's in-person sports and there's TV sports. Football has moved heavily, some years ago, it moved into a more of a TV oriented, where money came through TV because more people would rather sit on their couch and watch it, particularly when they brought the slow-mo and instant replay and all that back. It was better than being in person and trying to figure out what happened when you miss something there. Hockey is an in-person sport because it's really hard to translate that to TV for following the puck and to keep around. There's been one or two maybe directors that are far enough to understand hockey enough to where they can be ahead of the game and see the shots, and you can see where things are moving and how it's set up to play. Baseball is an in-person sport because frankly on TV it's awful slow, but it's more of a environment thing when you're in the baseball thing. NASCAR turned into when they had the in-car cameras and stuff like that end up with the replay of wrecks and everything else, that it's become more of a TV sport. And, Bristol, had been sold out for years at 165,000 people. And a few years ago, it what changed it when they profiled Bristol, they changed the way the racing was in it. So a lot of people were upset about that, and they kind of didn't go in person as much on that one. But then bringing back, I think the race in April or into March at Bristol is going to be in dirt again. So they're going to try and do dirt, dump dirt in there and do it where you're racing on dirt again, which ought to be really hysterical, particularly if it rains again, it turns into a mud fest. So, it's all sports are kind of there, you have transition. You keep seeing a lot of basketball on TV, but I'm not, basketball translates better than in person. So that's kind of,
and I think to your point, I mean, they took the All-Star race away from Charlotte, which they've always had that, so everybody could be home up in Concord. But the other thing that they did is the October race, they turned it into a Rogo, which they turned the 2.5 mile lap into a road course. And that was just to cause more wrecks and some stuff to get the people to come into the stands again.
Well, they also tied it in with the IMSA race. They did IMSA the weekend before or that weekend of the NASCAR race too, of the sports car race.
Right.
And
and they always, a lot of the drivers in the October race will go up to the dirt track and race in the dirt track that weekend before doing their.
Right, but it's not NASCAR anymore if they're riding in the dirt, right? It's called something else.
Well, yeah, it's the world. They go up to the World of Outlaws.
Yeah, World of Outlaws, exactly. But you're that's what I say. You're running offset tires. It's a completely different thing than NASCAR.
Right, but I mean, it's, and I'm not I'm in it, but I follow it a little bit. But I'm not into it like it used to be. But with them taking the All-Star race away, that was a big 2-week scenario. Charlotte Motor Speedway became the second largest town in North Carolina those 2 weeks. There was that many people that came in.
They did the All-Star race, and the next week they did the 400, 500. Yep,
600.
Yep.
Now, is there any additional PA systems needed on these particular systems, or is bring it into our industry? Do they use any outside, or is it just announced?
It's awful. It's terrible. I mean, that's why I say they've shot themselves in the foot with all this technology, because to go there, you generally can't hear what the announcer's saying unless you're sitting somewhere where you can see the leaderboard. You don't know who's seeing the race. You get to see 300 or 400 feet of the track, and you just as it goes by. So unless you're up at a stand someplace where maybe you can see the whole thing. The few times, I mean, I've done motor racing and I've experienced it as a fan. I would never pay to go. Somebody took me out there with them, but I would never pay to go to a racing event. It's just, it's insane. Go sit by the side of the freeway. You'll have about as much fun.
Yeah, it's, well, like I said, when I went there, it was all about what was going on in the infield rather than what was on the track. It was all about, the partying that was going on, because everybody had mobile homes. And
that's similar to going to a concert at a place like the Hollywood Bowl, where it's a thing. It's not just a concert; it's a whole thing surrounding the concert. It's sort of the same thing, although on a much larger scale with NASCAR, I bet.
Exactly.
Yeah, because the Hollywood Bowl has little booths where you could put 6 people in, and you have a table, and you have food and all that stuff, just to explain to the people who don't know.
Yeah, there's all kinds of other things you can do besides watch the concert.
Yeah. I want to know something, and maybe you guys, Fred, maybe you are the one to talk about, because I've heard a lot now with all this electronic and the TV going on, that you're able to pick what you want to watch and the angles that you want to watch. Is the Olympics offering that this year?
I know they have in the past. I don't know if they're doing that this year or not. I would imagine they are, but I realistically don't know. Like I said, I'm basically going to be on USA Network. I think all of the NBC affiliates are basically taking some of the coverage, and it'll be on prime time on the NBC affiliates, but CNBC, MSNBC, USA, True TV, whatever the NBC properties are, they're going to be pretty much 24/7 taking the world feeds, and it's going to be there.
So what about audio? Are you 5.1 on your particular setup?
I am.
And do you have more than one 5.1 setup?
I have one fader. I have 12 faders total. I have one fader. I have 2 EVS machines. I have one fader.
And what's the one fader called?
The world feed.
Oh, nice.
So it's coming in. It's coming in from China. It's all the effects, all the replay noises, the mixed zone announcer comes in on the center channel for when there's actually an announcer there. Otherwise, I'm adding an announcer in VO booth 5 down the hall, and there's another woman sitting on her couch in Wisconsin on an at-home kit. So those are my 2 announcers. It's the craziest thing.
And so what about outbound feeds, Fred? What do you have? Do you have to provide? Do you provide IFBs to those two announcers?
That was what I did yesterday. Was sorted out the IFBs, one to my VO booth and one to the at-home person, and one to the mix zone person in Beijing. But then I was there for 8 hours yesterday, and we we're trying to fax this quote friends and family thing. I have 4 IFBs built for friends and family, but none of them leave my room and go anywhere. They're built.
And what about? Do you have options for the viewers, or is it just one feed for the viewer?
USA Network is a single feed. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe there's other streaming versions of this where you can go look at those angles or watch particular cameras. Remember back when pay-per-view kind of first started and you had those options? I'm sure that the streaming services have that, but I don't believe any of the narrowcasting services do, because they're just single channels.
Right.
They're not. It's not like now what would be cool, or what's maybe going to be cool in the future when ATSC 3.0 comes out. You can have your main channel, and then they'll have 6 sub channels, kind of like you have now with your HD. You have your main channel and you have 1 or 2 sub channels, but there's always some other network on those sub channels. They could take maybe and put those other things on those sub channels, and then you could just pick between them with surround sound or Atmos or whatever, however this ATSC 3.0 thing's coming together.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's coming. But
So Fred,
and USA is a division of NBC. Is that what it is?
I think USA is under the NBC umbrella. Yes.
yes, they are. They shut down the sports MSN NBC Sports Network is shut down, and now it's moved over to USA. But I was just I looked up and I've got USA on, and they got curling going on. So did you already?
That's the first one right out of the gate. Yep, curling's already happening, and we haven't even had opening ceremonies yet.
Yeah, that's the mixed doubles or whatever. But did you mix that earlier, and it's just broadcasting now, or?
No, that's just what they're showing. They're just taking that from somewhere else. I'm doing short track, so I go in at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, and I think we're on the air at 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow.
So that's all you're doing, a short track, nothing else in the feed?
Nothing else, short track.
Yeah. And I hear they're having trouble with the snow. I hear there's not enough snow going on.
Yeah, there was some Italian company. I read something in we get these newsletters now every day called The Olympian, and it was talking in the first one that I got yesterday, talked about, I think it's an Italian company that's making the snow for the downhill events.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's great. And they're losing money. I mean, the Olympics every year are losing more and more money.
Well, especially not being able to let people in, with this COVID thing. I mean, it's going to be the second Olympics here in less than a year, because we had Tokyo in the summertime. Nobody was allowed to go. And now we have them in Beijing. Nobody's allowed to go.
I have some statistics on Tokyo. There was 0 fans attending. All spectators were banned. It cost $15.4 billion. That's 22% higher than what they planned because of all the COVID extras. Basically they lost like 90%. It's like they couldn't keep up with it. The real costs were overwhelming, and especially because they had to build all of these venues that they're not, with the infrastructure and everything else like that. They took a bath. As a matter of fact,
start to become FIFA, aren't they?
Yeah.
There's only been 2 profitable Olympics in the last, I forget how many years, and they were the last Los Angeles Games and then the Salt Lake Games. That's the only 2 Olympics in recent history that have been profitable.
And in the past, if they weren't profitable, it wasn't a big deal because there were spectators, which equates to tourists, which equates to financing money coming into their location. But without spectators, what's in it for the location?
They didn't know when they got picked. You get picked 8 or 10 years in advance, so you don't know.
So it's just a losing proposition for the location, for sure.
Well, not for sure. I mean, what if all this COVID stuff goes away and life goes back to normal? In 8 or 10 years,
2 weeks,
it'll be in 2023. It might be profitable again. Who knows?
Well,
but I mean, for this one right now, the one that's happening right now, though.
Yeah. But in 4 years, the winner's in Milan, Italy, right?
I don't know. I don't follow it.
Well, the costs are going up everywhere, and to move a little bit into some news of the industry right now, I wanted to bring up what happened the other day with one of the manufacturers that I work with. And I guess it's no secret that Meyer is introducing a new PA system. It's called the Panther System, but basically they sent out an email to me, and they announced that basically and I'll just read part of it. Meyer must also share with you the current impacts of the strained global supply chain in our operations. This is not a challenge unique to Meyer. It's outlined in the Plaza survey, and I downloaded that Plaza survey, and it's true. What's happening is this continues to drive up the cost of material, in some cases more than 25%, while freight costs are spiking 10 to 40 times the normal rate. And this is unprecedented in material and shipping costs. So basically, Meyer raised their prices 7% from January 31st, when I got this notice, to February 1st. Therefore, tomorrow, we will increase all our prices by 7%. And this was not anticipated. And all of the manufacturers, so Ken, you're involved in this, and plus there's no inventory to be shipped. Meyer has a 14-week delay if you order the Panthers right now. Allen and Heath can't deliver until the middle of the summer. RCF just sent me an email telling me that they can't deliver any speakers until the end of the summer. What are you seeing, Ken Porter?
Yamaha shipped some console models till 23. A lot of them are in the fall. They're not even opening up, taking orders on some stuff. D&B and L Acoustics are both struggling with stuff. They're talking orders now, or it's maybe scheduled in October, November. So it makes it really hard if you have an install that has a completion date before then that you're struggling with. Everybody's just short on everything and what you can come up. Sure is struggling, they only have so many chips at a time they can come up, and they're limiting what they can sell or what they can manufacture that they can sell.
That's the Dante stuff, right?
Well,
Yep.
the Dante stuff is they're right now they're saying June or July before there'll be enough Dante chips.
So what do contractors tell their clients?
Well, right now it's how to get by, how to struggle the pieces. The other one is, even if you can get speakers, the amplifiers are struggling too to get amplifiers. Some you're flipping here and there where you can come up with stuff. You schedule when you can get it. If you don't need it till November, you kind of play games with stuff.
Well, it's got to throw everybody's finances into a tizzy, though, because if they're working their books that they're predicting they have such and such jobs that'll pay by June, now all of a sudden they're not going to pay till December because of the supply chain issues. That's going to be a huge drag on the financial aspect of the industry.
The install is not paying, but it's just when they can install and get the product delivered to complete the project.
But they don't get paid until they complete it, right?
It depends in how big of a project is and progress payments and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but if you bid a job that wasn't time and material, all of a sudden you're in a situation where you're going to lose money because the costs are going up. So how do we compensate as our industry? And more importantly, what about the guys like Kenny and David who are not supplying gear? How do you, with inflation the way it is, how are your rates being affected? I mean, what's going on with employee costs, with all sorts of different aspects of this industry, because it's harder and harder to survive.
My rates haven't changed.
Yeah, we're still stuck in the 90s with our rates, but and I don't see a proper avenue to raise my rate. The only opportunity I'll have to do that is if somebody calls me and says, I really need you. If they say, I really need you on this such and such a project, I'll say, well, it's going to cost you, $50 more a day or $100 more a day than it has in the past because of all the issues that are in our financials these days. But most gigs are not going to do that. They're just going to expect me to continue billing at the same rate.
The angle
Yeah,
you
I
got,
can't imagine Paul Anka saying, "Okay, Kenny, I'll give you a raise."
And from my angle, I have to just raise my rates and tell them, if you don't want me anymore because I'm raising my rates, sorry, but I got to raise my rates, you know?
well, the other way too, you either raise your rates or you can do more shows.
Well, yeah, but
That's the other one.
Yeah, but
too.
it's getting harder. I see what's going on in what I'm doing right now, and it's harder to get more money for the gear. Even though the prices of new gear is going up, the used gear, people don't want to pay. Everybody wants to try to get it as cheap as possible. And even though I keep telling them, listen, the new gears are going up. So because the new gear is going up, the people that are selling their gear want more money for it.
it's just
And
like cars, just like automobiles.
And shipping has become unbelievable. Yesterday, we had to do an emergency shipment of 2 Meyer drivers. So how much could they weigh? 15 pounds each from San Francisco to the Super Bowl. Would anybody want to take a guess what UPS charged us for that particular package overnight?
I'm going to guess $1,000 just because they can. More than 1,000?
No, that would have been crazy. I'm just talking about UPS, not the cost of the drivers.
Sure.
UPS, just to go, it used to be like $40. I mean, a couple of years ago, it was $40 to ship something, because it used to be, if you shipped anything within California, Nevada to California or Nevada, it was ground shipping and it would be the same and it would get there in one day. Now you had to ship it red label. It'll be 2 days, not one day, possibly, maybe one day, and it was $340.
That's a little bit of an increase, huh, Jen?
Well, that's the problem. It's going throughout the whole world. But as a vendor, my challenge is I can't raise my prices, and I want to raise my prices.
It's always that captive audience. You need it now. They're going to charge you more. Just like the what do they call it? The tax on new technology when the new computer comes out. First adopters tax, I think is what it's called. You know, when you get new technology, you're going to
Early
pay
adapter tax. Yeah.
early adopter tax. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I see this as being a huge challenge for us from the standpoint of, number one, we can't get the new gear. And number two, the prices are going up. It's insane.
It's like Crazy Eddie.
Well, I could understand they're saying, okay, well, we'll sell this to you and it's going to be more money. But then not only are they saying this, that we're going to sell it to you, but it's going to be more money. They're selling, well, we can't sell it to you right now. We're not going to be able to give it to you for 2 months, but you better pay us now. Otherwise you won't get it.
Kind of unprecedented in the world, right? That would happen.
And so, a company like Spectrum, which is really on the forefront of what's going on and the leader in so many different areas of what affects the rest of the industry. So how are you dealing with that?
They have to find some PA systems that have been in storage and pull them out, dust them off. They worked once upon a time. I'm sure they still work now. They're probably not as many bells as whistles as they have today, but somebody will make them sound good.
That's why I've been doing stuff the past 6 months, trying to get things ordered and get in and get things built before time. It's just the last minute things that I overlooked that are ones that bite me sometimes.
So what do you do? I mean, how do you tell your customers that, hey, look, I know I said I was going to do this at this particular time, but I can't find it. There's nobody that has it. There's just nobody that could do this.
We've had that more on sales and stuff there, like they can't hit their time frame, and we see what they can come up alternates for it and stuff like that. Most of that's in sales. Touring wise, we're doing pretty good staying on top of that. But most of the time in sales, they wait till too late and don't pre-plan it as much. But you have to think about where you're going to be come April, May, June, and what you're going to have out and who's particularly could be out on the road. And then I got to figure out what they're going to do and be ahead of that.
Well, this year, the festival season is going to go off the hook. So, I mean, and there's so many shows. Everybody who hasn't toured in 2 years now, they're desperate for money. So they want to get out there and tour. I'm seeing more and more shows being added all the time. Where are they going to get the gear to do these shows?
That's why you have Claire hunting for all stuff all over the country, pushing pressure on people.
You know, so
Yeah,
I mean,
the lists of people that are going out on tour. I got one the other day. It took me 5 minutes to read it. It had to be 150 people long of all. I mean, and people from back in the 70s, you know, REO Speedwagon and, you know, groups like that. There's like, I was shocked at how many people were on this list that are going back out on tour.
But yet I heard a couple days ago that Aerosmith canceled their tour. So go figure.
Well, and I just booked it 2 weeks ago. I wanted to go see Joe Satriani, so I booked a concert in Tucson. Today I get an email from Ticketmaster says the concert's now moved. So I had to cancel my hotel reservations, I can't go because on the day they moved it to, I have a spring training game that I'm mixing. So, you know, so now I'm not going to go get to see Satriani just because somebody screwed up somewhere in the scheduling department.
The other one,
do you think it's a COVID related change, Fred, or no?
No, they just moved it. They moved it from a Tuesday to a Monday.
Oh shit.
So they moved it one day.
Sorry, Jan. I'm sorry.
You know, it's still, you know, I had to pay a fee to undo the hotel I booked, you know, because I wasn't going to drive down there and drive back after a concert. I booked a hotel, you know, and it's just crazy.
You need to cancel that gig. Get out of that gig.
Nope. I actually took 2 more. The days that I was going to use to go to the concert, I picked up 2 more baseball games.
Oh, that's cool. Hey, listen, we're going to keep going, but I want to thank those people on Facebook, YouTube, and now LinkedIn. If you have any comments, send me a comment on anything you like from any of these sources, and we'll get back to you for sure if you mention the roundtable in it. Otherwise, you might not hear from me for a while because SoundBroker doesn't respond to Facebook and anything but things that are inquired from us on our website. We just can't do that anymore. Anyway, but we want to thank you all for watching and being participants. Remember, if you want to be on the panel, you just have to send me an email, SoundBroker@gmail.com, or DM me from any of the sources, and we'll send you the invite to be on the panel. Just remember, everything you heard today is an opinion, and I want to thank everybody on the panel. So before we go, and by the way, one last thing is we do come in early the room, and we do stay around as long as anybody wants to talk about something that doesn't want to be publicly broadcast. So in reality, that's about it for this show, but I will open up the room. Is there anybody that wants to say anything to anybody for posterity's sake onto the audiences that we have?
I want to know what Gear's doing. I see Gear's name down there, but I haven't heard him speak today.
Yeah, what's going on and what's going on out there in Europe? You know.
Well, it's the middle of the night. It's 2:30 here, almost, and I've been sleeping all day because I had an accident today. So now I'm awake, trying.
What happened? Is it? I hope it's nothing serious.
No, I'll be fine. It's just when you. Are we? You still recording? Are you?
Yes, we'll go right. You'll see. Okay, that's the perfect way to say goodbye to everybody. If you want to hear what Gear has to say, you better be in the room next week. I love it. 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 Is there anybody else that wants to say anything really quick? And we'll keep Gear on the line before he dies. So we have to hurry.
Stay safe and stay healthy. Come on, we got to get healthy, America.
Yeah. Or for the world, for their people watching us all over the world right now.
Healthy,
so anyway,
world.
we really appreciate everybody.
Europe is fine. Well, but before you go, let me say that last night actually, the Norwegian government took away all COVID restrictions except the meter when you're in public space.
I read that this morning. It's awesome.
Yeah. So
by the meter, you mean meter spacing between people?
Yeah, no, as the 3 feet. We're in Europe, so we're in.
Of course, you have the smarter measurement method.
Yeah,
so you're supposed to stay a meter apart from everybody.
Or use the mouth cover.
Mask. We
and
call that a
mask.
mask.
yeah, the mask. So it's either the meter or the mask in public. But when you're, but all concert halls and venues can fill up to max capacity without using masks. But when
Oh,
you're
that's
walking
awesome.
around, you're supposed to use the mask. Yeah, so everybody's like jumping over themselves. And excuse me.
That's how you hurt yourself, right?
No, it's such a silly story. I'm not going to do that live. on
So,
record,
all right, we're
but
going
we'll
to
do
keep
that
everybody in
afterwards.
suspense here, but I want to
But-
know what her name was. What was her name? That's all I can say.
She was rolling. She was rolling.
All right,
Just keep
everybody.
that.
Everybody
Okay.
out there in Facebook land, YouTube, and LinkedIn, remember to stay safe. Remember, you make it happen. And if you want to join the panel, you know how to do it. So bye, everybody out there on Facebook and YouTube. And we'll be back. We'll stay around there in the room.